how we got started in investing. Hey everybody, welcome back to TFE. We've got Nate and Ashley today. We are going to be chatting about what got us first into investing. Nate, I want you to take it away. What got you involved in the world of investing?
Well, first of all, I'm not Warren Buffett, so nothing I should be saying here should be listened to as advice. But it started off years ago. I was very interested in real estate rentals, except I can't really swing a hammer too well.
Fair.
So I was looking at the business end of the back end of leverage, and you borrow this much money, you get this much money back, and all that other fun stuff. Then I wanted to hire property managers to do it, and long story short, I ended up having 3 units over the course of time. So I'm working with that. Sometimes it's better than others, but when I was starting off with this back in the day, I was working at Vanguard Group of Mutual Funds. Many people know them. They're in the same
Like the
uh,
Vanguard?
Vanguard, yeah,
Oh,
Vanguard Group of Mutual Funds,
okay.
like Fidelity, that kind of stuff. So it
Right.
was pretty cool. They're like, "Hey, we manage $500 billion," and we're like, "Okay, that's awesome." So I got to talk with a lot of people there that graduated from the Wharton School. So I was working in IT support back in the day, and you walk into somebody's office and you see this big Wharton, uh, you know, uh, diploma on their wall. So it's kind of intimidating, but you pick up a lot over the course of time with risk and how they were doing that kind of stuff. At the same time, I was going to Villanova for grad school. So I started learning about the finance and the macroeconomics of a lot of this stuff, which was a lot of fun.
Right.
But I was focused mostly in management studies. So I don't want to let anybody think here that I'm some, working grad or anything like that from economics. So, but fast forward a lot of years, my 20s were a whole heck of a lot of fun. I didn't really save up of anything at all. My 30s, I started settling down, and that's when you're buying houses and stuff. But now, in my 40s, I'm in the position probably a lot of people watching this are is that, hey, wait, I got to play some catch up here. Wait a second, the world's falling apart. So at the same time, I'm seeing that the repo market was having all kinds of problems in 2019. At the exact same time, my wife was pregnant
But
with
hang on
our,
a second.
yeah.
How did you find out about the repo market of 2019?
Well,
Like,
the big
how
thing
were you
was is
already there thinking about that?
well, that was one of those things I learned in grad school. And like one day, I read about it in
Right.
1 hour, one time, and it stuck in the back of my head. And I saw it in like a Wall Street Journal article, and all these alarm bells went off.
Right.
And I'm like, what are people saying about this? And
Sorry,
a lot of
sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to, maybe somebody who's watching this is like I would never know about the repo market of 2019,
yeah,
right?
a
But you're right.
big
That's where it all started to rumble. Yeah.
the big picture with that is that's when banks borrow from each other. And essentially what was happening was the banks weren't trusting each other for these short-term loans. And the government had to step in, US government had to step in and provide a lot of liquidity for this. And this kind of sent off some signal flares with me. So that's kind of where this all started in the last 18 months. So from there, I'm like, okay, well, if things do happen again like 2008, how can I profit from it? Now, a lot of people have seen the movie The Big Short. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I love that movie. But I'm not, you know,
A1. A1.
I, for anybody watching this that wants to make money shorting, you can lose infinite amounts of money by shorting. So I don't do shorting, but I wanted to find out how maybe I could make some money off of, other things
Right.
going up while the main things were going down. So that's
Right.
when I found out about people hedging with gold and silver and all that other fun
Asymmetric
stuff.
bets, precious metals. Where are we in the cycles? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and that started me looking at gold and silver. Mike Maloney, we both talked about him. Yeah, so
The one
I've
and
I've seen.
only.
So those were we have to tell people to watch that series, The Hidden Secrets of Money. By the
We
way,
are
it
huge proponents of Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike
yeah,
Maloney. We're gonna link below for you guys
absolutely.
the link to the first episode, and then we're trust you'll know how to find the rest. But yeah, amazing. He's amazing.
So with that, I mean, I'm finding about it I'm finding out about silver and stuff. And my dad was doing that like 40 years ago. My mom was in Peru as a foreign exchange student. And I inherited a little bit of silver from her.
Amazing.
So it was like the stars were kind of aligning. And
Right.
then so
Right.
I got a little bit of silver and stuff, and we'll talk about it in other videos about how I actually bought some silver.
Yes,
But
we're gonna do that. Yeah.
what was actually kind of cool with that was then I started finding miners and how you can make infinite amounts of money off of that gold and silver move, which those are probably a whole other series of videos as well. But with that, I started writing a lot about it. I've been blogging for 15, 20 years, but just recently I started Twitter, and that's what got me on the Palisades radio interview. So I started getting a lot of readers from Twitter, and every time I'm publishing something now, I'm getting 500 to 1,000 views or so. So doing with the investment writing, it kind of gave me a big audience. That's how we end up meeting each other on Twitter. So it's a big community that everybody can kind of embrace each
That's,
other with. But
it's honestly, just not like we're not even plugged by Twitter, obviously. But I would like to, second that. And like Twitter is actually amazing. We want to encourage anybody who watches this video to please go get involved in conversations with people that are not your friends or your family. These are individuals that you share a like mind with. I have learned so much from Twitter. We met on Twitter. Some of my job opportunities have come from Twitter. So really want to encourage the everyday person, just get involved, just go see what people are saying. You might not understand everything, but like don't let that deter you. That's what I want to say about Twitter.
that's it. It's awesome, and I've told people on Twitter, feel free to email me. And the first couple of weeks, I'm getting all kinds of emails left and right. My wife's like, "Put the phone down."
Yeah,
So
like, but it's
anyway, it was it
true.
was
I mean,
great. It
even
was great
even
interacting
my
with everyone.
experience, that direct relationship that you're able to have. Like I got to interview Jeff Booth, the author of the phenomenal book The Price of Tomorrow, which is centered all around deflation and technology. And without Twitter, I would not have been able to email or to DM Jeff and ask him for just 5 minutes of his time to talk to me about his book. And he said yes. And that's the power of Twitter, right? So I'll link that interview below, and just in case anybody wants to see what he had to say for, anyway. Sorry, Nate. Go on.
Well, no problem. Just to wrap up on my end of rambling, what I wanted to finish off this with was that I mentioned I did do some real estate investing. So I'm not like 100% into gold and silver. So I don't advise everyone to go out tomorrow and cash in their 401k and go get silver, because Crazy Nate says silver is going to go to $200. Don't do things like that.
Right.
We can't advise people how to spend their money or how to invest, but on my end, I do have roughly about a 50% breakdown with my real estate versus my miners and precious metals and stuff. And part of that is because with the real estate, you're going to have potentially perpetual income for the rest of your life, and you can invest that money into other things. So that is yield bearing investment for me. So that's kind of how I have a balance, and that might fluctuate a little bit here and
Interesting
there, but
that it took you the you had the ability to take out capital or to take out leverage. So there's people that don't have access to cheap credit and don't have savings, that getting into, and that's just an interesting thing about investing, is that I think a key thing that a lot of people miss is using leverage for profit to buy money. And again, yeah, we can't, obviously we're not accredited professionals and accolades and all this jazz. We're just here to chat with everybody about, like, here's what we're doing. And Nate and I have totally different things we like holding and what we believe in, and personal finance is personal, right? So
yeah,
it's
the
what works for you. That
the
the
big
most
thing is we are completely opposite on certain things, and over the course of time we'll talk about some of our differences. But
right.
there's my story. How about your story? How do you get involved with a lot of this?
Much the same way. Mike Maloney, Hidden Secrets of Money. I was lucky enough to have a friend in banking who planted that little seed, and that seed just I went through every interview, every book I could get my hands on. They're all back here. Joined Twitter. I was so curious to see what people were saying. I wanted to interact with people. And then my first real love was like gold and silver. Like I love precious metals. I think they're beautiful. They are real money. They've been money. So my first investment was silver, physical silver. And and then I diversified into some stocks. Like, I bought Apple and I bought the ARK ETFs last summer, and that stuff all treated me really well. I don't think you had to be a really good investor last summer. You could kind of just buy anything and it went up. Um, but and then I had I still have my gold junior miners because it's still in the red. Sorry to say it. Sorry to say it.
They've
Um,
had a tough struggle the last 8 months or so with the
it's,
consolidation. So
there is no one in the investing world that deserves vindication quite like silver and gold investors deserve. Like, anyways, I'm sure we'll get there. But so for me, and then somehow I got bit by the Bitcoin bug. And that took me on a whole other journey. So I would say, I'm pretty overweight crypto. My second biggest holding would be silver. And then I have, a stock portfolio of various things, just things that I found interesting or that I wanted to be a part of. And so, yeah, that's sort of a breakdown of me. And, really sort of understanding where we are. Like, governments around the world, central banks around the world are printing money into the sky, trillions and trillions and trillions, and it is going to suffocate us. I don't know when. No one does, but I think what I want to do is empower people. And I think that's what you and I chatted about, that, there is a way to get through this and profit off of it if you're on the right side of it. But if you just stick your head in the sand, I don't know.
I get a follow-up question for you.
Oh.
Should I be editing laser eyes into you for this video?
I'd be lying to you if I said no. Because yes.
So how long have you been doing this? Is this something that over the last 3 months? Have this been a couple years? How far back are you
So
going with this?
it was when the world stopped. It was when the world stopped last year. I lost both my sources of income. I said, what the heck am I gonna do? And I finally just said, okay, I finally got to go in the dark, scary money room. And that's what happened. And it just sort of went from there. And all of a sudden I started to see the need, and I started seeing it play out around me. I'm like, this is happening. Like, I'm alive for this. We're very lucky to witness this, as crazy as it's going to be and as destructive as it's going to be. Like, monetary systems don't live past 50 years. And this monetary system's birthday is this August. It's 50-year birthday. So
what you're saying is tomorrow the dollar is going to collapse and we're going to be in Mad Max of Thunderdome.
I think our collapse will be a lot cozier than others. I think we have it pretty good. But
yeah, I think the big thing that we're talking about with this channel a lot is how to at least prepare yourself.
Yes.
And how to empower yourself so that someday if some bad things do happen, that you have potentially the right holdings and where to go from there.
Well, the knowledge is something no one can ever take away from you. When you think for yourself, when you read for yourself, when you research for yourself, when you do critical thinking for yourself, that is something that no one can ever take away from you. Like, all these books, they can't take away the knowledge I've gained. And that's even kind of why I love Bitcoin, because I can go anywhere in the world. I just have to remember 24 phrases, and my entire wealth is mobile behind me. No one knows. It's undetectable. It's anonymous. I can borrow against it. You can't do that. You know how heavy my silver is, Nate?
Oh, well, you know what? It's easy enough to lose in a boating accident. So, so with that, I think we're going to be trying to share with you some of our stories, some of our failures, some of our successes, and try and get you some of the knowledge that you need in order to survive any upcoming turmoil. So with that, do you have anything else to add to this?
Nate, beautifully said. And everybody will post all those links below that you need, that we've mentioned throughout the talk. Anything else we find helpful, we'll add for you. And thanks for joining us. And we hope you get excited the way we are, like big geeks. Take care.